What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Billtendo Show. I am your co-host, Billtendo, and here is your co-host, the Aldi's consumer. That's pretty funny. I appreciate that. I am also an Aldi's consumer.
Dude,
Big fan.
awesome. Yeah, the cup. I got a cup out.
Yeah,
with my hat.
Especially buying stuff on the wild aisle. That's where you get that cup. Today's show, as always, brought to you by Billtendo.com. We can't get an actual sponsor, so I'll sponsor it myself. And what does that mean? Nothing other than trying to direct people towards my website because I do have bills to pay. So, Mike, how's it going?
It's going okay. I was just talking to you about weather before we came on. I live sunny, currently beautiful Wisconsin, where last week we had a snowstorm and it was like 30 degrees with 25-mile-per-hour winds and a foot of snow. And yesterday and today I was able to go on a bike ride with my kids and go get ice cream and stuff, and it was really great because Wisconsin, where we have all 4 seasons in 8 days,
right?
Because we love seasons and not because it's cheap to live here or anything like that.
Well, I live in New York and we're like longitudinally the same, right? Or close?
I think packages actually go north to you when I send you things.
Yeah, because we have a lot of the same weather that you have. Like last week, we had snow, rain, freezing, and warm all in the same week.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice. And that is when we moved into this house. We bought it like 5 years ago. And the systems that came with the house, we have a 2-story house, so we have 2 different AC systems, and the one on the second floor, the AC didn't work, and so we had window units on the second floor because in New York you really only get a couple days where you need AC here and there. You know, it's not a large chunk of time. You know, maybe you need them for a month out of the year total, and so my wife Dallas is super excited. She's messaging me today. She's like, "It sure is getting warm. I got to read the manual on the new units to figure out how to turn on the air conditioner."
Yeah, I joke about the weather here, but we use our air conditioner. Well, we have central air too, and we use it probably half the year because we live right by a lake, a really large lake,
right?
And it's so unfathomably hot and humid. When it is hot, like there's no dry here, it's not Arizona. It's like 80% humidity all the time when it is hot. And I live in our house this is the upstairs,
right?
We have Cape Cod ceilings. That's why it's slanted down. So up here it just traps all the heat. It doesn't matter how many windows I have open. So we have to have a separate, even though we have central air, we have a wall air conditioner that goes in that window to pump extra cold air upstairs because we have about a 18-degree difference between the comfortable 68-degree downstairs and the uncomfortable 78-degree upstairs.
I know exactly what you're talking about because even though we have like the large second floor, we actually hung a curtain up at the bottom of our stairs because we have like an enclosed stairwell, right? Yep. It's not like open banisters and all that fancy stuff. Yeah, kind of like that. So when you get down to the bottom, right, and you make your turn, that's all closed in. So we had a curtain at the bottom because the bottom floor AC worked just fine. And during the day, I am between the basement and the first floor. Even though I work from home, I very rarely go to the second floor during the day. And you feel the difference.
Yeah.
You know, like you walk up the stairs, the air conditioner's on downstairs, and you walk up the stairs, even if the curtain's not down, and you go upstairs, it's hot. It's hot.
Yeah.
So
my cats are telling me it's hot up here too right now. They're scratching at the window. They want the attic window open so they can smell the birds or whatever it is. Cats do.
Yeah, I have to keep my cats out of here, especially while I'm recording. Like if I'm down here by myself, I'll let them run around. But for some reason, while I'm recording, because I guess I don't get out of the chair, or I'm doing a live or something like that, I don't get out the chair. The cat wants to be by me.
And plus you don't want them like scratching up that sweet, what is that, 88-inch flat screen and whatever this circle ottoman in the background over here. So.
Right. For my phony aesthetic. No, but the cat does claw up my chair trying to climb up it.
Mm-hmm. Mine too. I'm actually sitting on their chair. They have claimed this chair. It's a small one, so I don't have a tall chair like yours because when I do, I sit back too far, and because I am trying to keep my back as like a 40-year-old back and not like an 80-year-old back, I have a small chair, so I sit up and have good posture.
Yeah, well, Dallas has a small desk in between the living room and the dining room, and I mean it's big enough for her monitor and keyboard, and she has a mini PC hooked to it. But she has a nice office chair there, and we have to keep a blanket on it because in the first week the cats are up on the back of it. Now, because it has the blanket on it, the cats have completely claimed it. There is always one of our two cats sleeping on that chair.
Yeah, we have really nice. We have a 3 seasons or a sun porch or a sunroom, whatever you call it.
We have one too,
and we have papasan chairs that sit out there, and that's where my wife and I sit all summer. Essentially, every time there's not on the ground, we sit out there, even in the fall and whatever. And the cats, as soon as the porch is open, the cat claim one chair each, and then you have to barter with them to get them off of there.
Right. So this is kind of funny. Out on our porch, the cats have a cat, like a cat tree, and I actually built it because a number of years ago I was doing a construction project. And I had a little bit of leftover lumber, and I threw it in the car, and I had some leftover carpet remnants. Now, it's brand new installed carpets. It's just the pieces they cut off. Yeah. Dude, I built it. It's about 4 feet tall. It's just a carpeted base, a 4x4 post, piece of plywood on the top, and everything's wrapped in carpet. And then, like, I hung a string down each side with one of those feathered keychains.
Yeah.
If you let the cats out on the porch, one of them is always on it. We have had it for years now. Absolutely free. The cats love it. They don't like jump up on it. They climb up it every time because it's carpet. They can really get their claws in it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, cats are great.
Yeah, because we bought cat houses and cat trees, and you pay like $60 for them, and then the cats barely touch them, and that's annoying. And then I build something out of scraps, and it's their favorite thing.
Yeah, ours are the same way. I have one that they like that we bought, but they only use, it's like yours, but it's got levels between. Right. They don't use any of the shit in between. It's somebody's got to be on top of it, and if somebody's on top of it, the other one just stares at them, and probably the same way as your single platform thing. Got to have it though. Best spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, that's enough about cats and weather. And,
hey, Mike. Mike, can we add? I'm sorry, I'm just dropping this on you.
No.
Can we add a weekly segment to the show? And it can be
it's your show once again.
No, Mike, this is just as much your show as it is mine. I wouldn't do this show if I didn't do it with you. My buddy, Mike.
Anyway, what segment are we adding?
Can we do, even if it's 2 minutes long, a weekly wrestling segment?
Sure. I want to talk about this week. You got to name it though. I'm not gonna. If you're gonna do this, you have till next week to figure out the name for this.
Okay.
You don't have to. I'm not gonna drop it on you right now, like you dropped this on me and ruined the entire show. But...
Okay, I'm sorry for ruining the flow.
That's okay.
So we can start it next week. No problem.
Oh, we'll start it this week. Talk about what you want to talk about. That's why you're talking. That's why
we were messaging earlier about MJF being removed from AEW, all of their website and everything like that because his contract's up.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like he re-signed. So do you think he's going to go to WWE, or like you messaged me, do you think it might be a work?
I think regardless of where this ends up, I think it's still a work because he did the same thing last year. They pulled his merchandise for like a week, but it was because they were releasing new merchandise and they were low on inventory. But he made that part of his, like on Twitter, that it was part of his radio silence of what's going on with him and his contract and stuff. And so it could be the same thing over again. I wouldn't be surprised if he left for more money. He's been very open, which could also be a work. Because everything with him is a work, and it's amazing. Even his parents, go to places and hold up signs saying that they also have MJF, and they're great. Like all of it's great. He's the only guy that like stains all the time, 24/7. always Roman was the only one that was doing that otherwise, and even he, visits kids because of WWE's regiment with,
Make-A-Wish and everything.
yeah, all of the Cancer Foundation, because Roman's leukemia, and he's, that means something to him. They do like the Hall of Fame inductions, and he was very, very kind during those. But MJF's a jerk all the time, and it's amazing. It's like Ric Flair all over again, where he just lives the life, and I'm about it. So
yeah,
I'm not convinced that he's leaving, but I'm also wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and either way, it's a win for him.
Yeah,
and
wrestling. It doesn't matter where he goes.
I agree. I agree. So the fact that we don't have too many. So MJF is technically a heel, but to me, he's kind of like a weird anti-heel, like an anti-hero.
Yeah, he had the run with Adam Cole. They did the tag team titles where they did a bunch of call-outs. Like they celebrated their double clothesline. They celebrated a double back body drop. Like everything was cool throwbacks. Yeah, he knows how to work a crowd.
So like he's not Captain America Cody Rhodes.
Correct. Yeah, he's Austin all over again. He's Austin. He's terrible when he needs to be terrible, and people love when they want to. So
he's the Punisher or Venom. Yeah, that anti-hero, the bad guy you love to root for, because there's something there. There's a part of a good guy in there,
and he's
not good enough.
Yeah. Like people relate to him because he's still because he's so active on social media,
right?
And does all the extracurriculars for AEW now, but he's young. He's got a lot of energy. He doesn't have a huge family. He doesn't have other stuff. He just does wrestling, and it's amazing. It's like Kevin Owens again, or Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who just lived the life forever, but now they're married and are finally settling down too. So
okay, so that's all I really wanted to talk about because it's very interesting to me.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a name for it by next week, and then I'll let you include it in the show.
Okay. Thank you, Michael.
It's my pleasure. So, news about video games. Because that's what we do on this. It's a Billtendo show, and we talk about movies and comic books and other things that Billy likes, and then I just show up and I lead him through an hour of him talking himself. So, first, this week in the news, we have Ubisoft, which could probably be in the news every single week, recently at least. But currently, for one specific game, The Crew, Ubisoft is now stripping people's licenses for The Crew after they shut down the online servers for it 2 weeks ago now, nearly squandering all the hopes of fan servers and acting as a stark reminder how volatile digital ownership is. So it's an open world multiplayer racing game, The Crew. So they took away the license, and people who were trying to log into the game were met with like a notice saying that the servers would be shutting down, but figuring that since they paid for this game, that once the servers shut down, they would still be able to play online and do the things that they wanted to do and spent the time unlocking in an offline setting. Well, instead, the library page now reads, you will no longer have access to this game. Why not check out the Ubisoft store to purchase new adventures? And then in other people's libraries who try to access it in other ways, like on PC, it just falls under the inactive game setting where you can't even boot it up. So they have taken a game that was full price and had add-ons and also microtransactions and have taken it completely away, essentially.
So to me, it's extremely problematic because it just reinforces that whole thing. Now, I am all for digital games from a preservation standpoint, from an easy access to play accessibility standpoint.
Yeah.
But when it comes to new games and games that you have to purchase for full price digitally, you're not buying these games anymore. You are just paying for the license for however long they want to let you use it. Basically, they're long-term rentals.
Correct.
And I have an issue with that. I actually have an issue with technology in general that we can't buy
the crew
anything.
Is, I believe,
anymore.
like 2013, 14, 15, somewhere in that point.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So some people have a lot.
I guess the idea is
in
that because this game has been out for, it's been out for 10 years. So Ubisoft thinks that because it's been out for 10 years that people have gotten their fill. That's the idea, is that, you have
doesn't sound like it,
rented this game for 10 years. Well, correct. Correct. But that's just, this is the current thing that people are mad at Ubisoft about. But that's their viewpoint as a company, is you've gotten 10 years of this game for, $50-$60. That's a good deal. And that's the way it is. And they just shut it down. And they also feel like you shouldn't be like, if the game is entirely online, they think that once it's offline, that's it. There shouldn't be offline for something they didn't design to have offline, even though you could play it without other people.
Okay. F them in the A. Seriously. I mean, come on, man. If I buy a game, I want that game. So, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen? You're going to have a fan server go up.
Can't. That was part of the way that Ubisoft took it down, is that the way that they pulled the backdoor out of the licensing, there's almost no hope of a fan server going up now.
So that don't you think that in and of itself is just a spiteful, shitty maneuver? Because if they bought this game, they have a right to keep playing it, right? And so if they want to put together,
I agree with you. I'm trying to play devil's
server,
advocate here, but I mean,
I get it. But to me, I feel like if you buy a game and the company no longer wants to pay for the server to run that game and shuts their server down, you should be allowed to build your own server for people to play that game.
But you don't know,
as long as you're not profiting off of it.
But you kind of are, because you have people holding up an intellectual property that doesn't belong to them, and that because the servers are not free, somebody's paying for them. So that's like, that's like the Switch server Patreon thing all over again. People will offer to donate money to help the servers stay open, and if there is even 1 cent of excess to keep those servers open beyond the actual cost of the server, which there absolutely will be every single time you do a fan server, then Ubisoft and coming after them for profiting off somebody else's intellectual property, mainly theirs.
Well, Ubisoft's a shit company anyway.
It kind of is, yeah.
I mean, it's not Bethesda, but it's still a shit company.
But like I said, it just shows how volatile the digital marketplace is. And I've fought for digital in a way. I'm more a physical media guy, but I fight for digital because there are people that, that's the only way they have access to a game. They'll have a store near them. Shipping costs are expensive for some areas of the United States or around the world. So you have to have digital games, especially at lower costs, because that's how people play games. But this is the kind of thing where, like, people pirating games makes total sense, because Ubisoft has taken your money and now taken your money away from you. So you should go out and steal every Ubisoft game you can right now just to get it back, is essentially how I feel. So. Speaking of companies taking a lot of your money, Amazon Prime has debuted the Fallout series. Have you watched any of that, Billy? It all released.
So Dallas and I are like halfway to 3/4 of the way through it. As far as game adaptations, holy shit, I love it. Say what you're gonna say, and then I'm gonna tell you my opinion with no spoilers.
I haven't watched. We're saving it till this weekend to watch together, so I haven't watched any of it. More so, I just don't like that Prime release because I'm not a huge Amazon fan. The company in general, it's cool that they made a well-received TV show, and I'm glad we have more like video game shows, I guess.
Right.
I do not, as a Fallout fan, I don't love that. It seems like the very little I've watched so far, it's how the show is, but they don't have branching storylines like the beginning of The Walking Dead did and stuff. It's just kind of, straight ahead through the story. And the best part of Fallout was getting lost for 45 minutes trying to, find a piece of shit somewhere and bring it back to somebody and complete a small storyline that made you feel like you were part of the world. But I would imagine that the series will do more of that in the second season and stuff like that.
Right. So let me tell you what I love about the Fallout series. And again, I'm not going to give any spoilers. So number one, we get introduced to some new vaults because we know there are tons of vaults we know nothing about.
Correct.
Because the numbering is so sporadic from what's been revealed from the original Fallout MS-DOS game up until Fallout 4, New Vegas, 76, all it is. The numbers of the vaults are very sporadic, going all the way up in like 120 or something. My personal 2 nightmare vaults from the game series is 68 and 69. I can't imagine a worse scenario because 68 is 1,000 men and 1 woman in the vault, and 69 is 1,000 women and 1 man in the vault, and both sound equally horrendous, you know? So I love the different vaults and the fact that we get introduced to several new vaults in the series, and it doesn't like lean back on the vaults from the games because there's openings there. And so the games can coexist with the series.
Correct.
And so I really enjoy that. And another thing that I really, really enjoy is there are 3 main characters to the series, and you're introduced to all 3 of them in the first episode. And number 1, Walton Goggins. Holy shit. Plays the ghoul.
Yep.
Walton Goggins. Uncle Baby Billy from the Righteous Gemstones. He was the bad guy in Justified. That guy steals every scene he's in. No matter what TV show, what movie you watch, and if Walter Goggins is in it, that is his fucking scene, and I love that guy. But so we have the 3 main characters, and we have Walter Goggins as the ghoul. We have Knight Titus, and we have the girl, and I've seen her in a lot of stuff. She's in Arcane also.
Okay.
I can't remember her name off the top of my head. She's the vault dweller that leaves to go to the surface, right?
Yep.
And so these 3 main characters represent basically the 3 play styles of Fallout. Either you're the vault dweller, hopeful do-gooder, going around completing missions just for do-goodery, or you're the knight who is not a bad guy, but not a good guy. They really only care about furthering their own objective.
Yep.
And then you have the ghoul who is screw everybody. I'm killing anybody that gets in my way. I'm doing it all, like he's doing the most in a negative manner. So like those are the main 3 play styles of Fallout encapsulated in our 3 main characters of the TV series. And it's very well written. So they're well fleshed out and you feel what they're going through. And I really enjoy that aspect of it.
Ella Purnell, by the way, too, is the first name.
Ella Purnell?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I only had one problem. Yeah. If you look at her, now her mother is not in the vault with her. Her mother passed away before the series starts.
Yeah.
And they do a flashback and they show her mother. And if you look at Ella Purnell's face, her mother should have been played by Denise Richards. Like they have the same type of eyes,
But isn't Denise Richards like doing some weird stuff now? I think she's kind of like in no land for Hollywood right now. So there's probably
might be. I don't know.
Plus, you probably still think she's expensive. This series doesn't seem like it. It looks more it's spending its money on all that sweet Amazon money on actual scenes and storytelling as opposed to actors and actresses. So.
Right. Well, when you get a series like this, I think it was a risk going for Walton Goggins, only for the fact that with a series like this, you want the character. You
Correct.
don't want an actor who's going to distract from the character. And that's kind of why George Lucas hired unknowns for the first Star Wars for the most part. Because you want the character to be the centerpiece and not, Chris Pratt doing the voice of Mario and you keep getting distracted from Mario because it's fucking Chris Pratt.
Yep.
And I think they took a little bit of a risk with Walton Goggins because he's so hot coming off of Vice Principals and the Righteous Gemstones. But I think it played out well. You feel his ghoul character very well.
Okay. I look forward to watching it. I will have more thoughts probably next week.
Mike, I'm right in the middle of it. And I usually hate game adaptations. They're usually not very good. I mean, you do remember the Doom movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yikes.
I think that was better. I watched some of the Halo series too, and I thought that the Doom movie was probably still better than the Halo series.
Yeah.
I'm always you were kind of excited about Twisted Metal, and I still haven't watched any of the Twisted Metal.
Neither have I.
That fell off quick enough where I didn't really.
I'm in the middle of Fallout, and even in the middle of it, and usually the middle of a first season kind of drags a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not all just boom, boom, boom all the way through. And dude, I cannot wait for Dallas to get home as soon as we finish recording so I can go watch the next episode. It's that good.
Exciting. I'm excited too. My wife is about video game shows usually, but with a positive critical review and prodding from me, she usually gets into stuff. She watched a lot of The Walking Dead. We gave up on that one together eventually.
Yeah.
And I told her about this. She recognizes, the Pip-Boy on the arms, and she recognizes the little Fallout dude that does the level ups and the little blue and yellow guy. So she's like, "Yeah, I know all that." I'm like, "Well, the series is getting really good reviews." She's like, "Okay, we can watch it." And then that was it. I didn't even have to fight it at all. So
just as little Easter eggs, they actually infer very heavily to the point of just not saying it out loud where that comes from. The whole it's great. And Dallas is like your wife. Like, she's not interested in video game properties and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, I heard Fallout was good. Let's watch the first episode. And if she doesn't like it, fine, I'll watch the rest of it without her if I do. But like, first episode, she's like, this is really good. I like this a lot.
Good. So they're like doing other things with the thumbs up Pip. I thought the whole idea with the thumbs up Pip-Boy thing was if there's nuclear fallout and you put your thumb up, I'm gonna try to give a thumb, that if you can cover the blast with your thumb, then you're far enough away to escape nuclear
that's
fallout.
what they say. Yeah. If it covers with your thumb, then run for the hills.
No, if you cover with your thumb, you're already far enough away to escape the radiation fallout for the first week or two. So you're not in any immediate danger.
That's how they explain it in the I think the first episode of the series. They're like, hey, if you can cover it with your thumb, run for the hills to try to avoid any radiation. And they're like, well, what if you can't cover it with your thumb?
Yeah.
Don't bother running.
Okay.
Mike, you froze up.
Yeah, I'm already done. Yeah.
Oh, you froze up for a minute.
Amazing. Looking forward to it. Yeah, it was. You're doing it too. We're just working through it.
Okay.
We'll have to talk about it.
All right. Okay. All right.
So
what we got?
The next news. We have as a follow-up to the Yuzu and Suyu servers going down. Discord is now taking down all Nintendo Switch emulator developers and their entire servers ahead of time now. Any Discord servers prominently developing, so like you said, we went through, Yuzu was the one that got sued. They settled outside of court for that's a huge amount of money. Suyu and now Sudachi have completely disabled their lead developer accounts, and they're the companies themselves or Discard are answering questions about why, but we know why. Because Nintendo is actively pursuing Discord servers, Facebook pages, and things like that, to keep down the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, whatever they're using to preemptively destroy people trying to work on current stuff. Because Nintendo's biggest beef in so much people that download ROMs. Nobody cares that you're downloading a pack of Game Boy Advance ROMs from 20 years ago.
They don't care as long as you don't profit off of it.
Yeah. Or that you don't immediately share it with a billion other people and have a website and stuff like that.
Right.
Which is just like we talked about with Ubisoft, it's inferring that there will be profit because there will be. And that's just the way that it is.
Right.
But yeah, they don't want you touching their stuff. Don't touch their kiosks that have, proprietary code and stuff inside of them. And don't touch the Switch to emulate, because the Switch still exists and is retail available with games. Like, just don't. So if these, I get it. People want to fight the big bad Nintendo, and I appreciate that. But it's super simple to just stay away from current gen stuff. Just wait for it. Switch 2 is coming out soon. Just wait. Go screw around with the Wii U some more, which is super fun to pirate stuff and pop a homebrew channel on.
You think Nintendo's less likely to mess with these people once Switch 2 launches?
I guarantee they are, because they don't care about people working. Like, we've been working in Wii U stuff, including emulation and jailbreak the entire library and playing with the console, and they don't care about that in the slightest. They just took the servers down. They're like, all right, I'm bye.
Right.
Take the servers down on Wii U and 3DS. You can do whatever you want with them. Don't try to connect to the servers. Don't tell us what you're doing. Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
When the console still connects to the internet through servers that Nintendo is paying for, that's a big no-no. So don't do so. Yeah, I do think that they will lay off, but I also don't think that people will lay off, because part of the pirate developing, jailbreak homebrew thing is being the first people to do things and being most notoriable for doing the most stuff with current gen systems. But I don't think those people know how to pump the brakes. And I don't blame them, because that's the life they're living. But it's so simple to avoid Nintendo's lawyers. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah, I just don't answer them when they call.
Yeah, correct. And they don't call you anymore because you don't do stuff with the Switch. So.
Right. They're concentrating on the Switch right now. I got a minute.
Yeah. Got a minute. Yeah. Yeah. It's not an emulation problem. It's not a, it's a people problem, and people don't know how to just lay off the thing that Nintendo's targeting.
Right.
It's very simple to avoid every major publisher's ire, and it's stay away from the most recent thing. Like, just don't release bootleg Tears of the Kingdom this day it comes out or the day before it comes out, and Nintendo doesn't even care what you're doing. They just don't care.
Right. Yeah, it's like whatever is currently supporting the company's checkbook is the thing that you should not touch, because then they're definitely coming.
Yeah, it's really simple. So that's it. Cut and dry. That's all we need to talk about. Lay off the Switch emulation, especially online. Do what you want if you mod your Switch and play it offline. Whatever. Just don't do anything Nintendo is watching you do.
Right.
One more news story. Overwatch 2 has decided that even though they're already a terrible game, this is actually probably a plus, but they are a terrible game. And now they're introducing harsher punishments for players who leave games mid-match. So maybe this is setting up for Blizzard's future stuff. But in ranked competitive matches now, if you leave a single game of ranked competitive Overwatch 2 mid-match, that is a 15-minute ban immediately. So 15 minutes off for leaving a ranked competitive match. And
Uh-huh.
they do have fail safes in place for server dropping, people pinging, stuff like that. It's, we're past that point where, you're playing Wii U golf and you drop out because of your Wi-Fi connection and stuff. They know you left is the point. So 15 minutes the first time. Second time, you leave 2 games in the span of 24 hours. That's a 2-hour ban. 3 games is 8 hours. 4 games is 20 hours. 5 games is a competitive season ban. 10 games throughout the season potentially bans you for the next season as well. And then they also have penalties for unranked. Same thing. Warnings for the first one. 2 through 3 is 5 minutes.
Well,
the biggest ban in unranked is 48 hours, and it's if you leave 10 games plus. So
yeah. So I think, since you're talking about that, I think it's Helldivers 2 was actually dealing with a small issue lately, and that is, was it Helldivers 2? Where everybody shares in the win.
Yep.
And then people are kicking everybody out right before the win, right when it's about to happen. And, just kicking them so they don't share the win.
Correct.
And they're going to institute some things so you can't do that.
And Blizzard's been dealing with that all the way back to Diablo 2. It used to be the same way where you would, host a match with Uber, Diablo, or going after, Bale or something like that, and then you could just kick everybody right before, because that was a shared loot pool. It wasn't an individual loot pool like Diablo 3. So you kick everybody out, pick through the loot, and then you'd exit quickly so it looked like everybody got kicked out. But it was essentially you picking through the loot pool and then exiting, to make it look like that. So yeah, video games have been dealing with this forever. This is just Blizzard's way of this is their attempt at dealing with it. And we may see this happen with more online games, moving all the way up to games like Fallout and Apex and stuff like that, because people complain. Ranked matches, you're losing and you drop out. That's how you protect your rank.
Right.
So we'll see.
Well, I don't play those types of games, so it doesn't affect me.
Well, sorry.
Okay.
Some people do. I play Switch Sports, and that's entirely unless you have the OLED, which has a wired connection. Have to play on Wi-Fi on all versions outside of that one. And I drop golf matches all the time, which sucks because I love Switch Sports Golf. And if you drop enough, I've dropped just a plain amount of games over a day, like 2 or 3, and they've given me a warning or banned me for 10 minutes, told me to go take a break because of my connection. I'm like, serious? This is going to ruin my whole mojo for the whole day now. Like, I don't even want to golf anymore.
Oh, you know what? Since you bring up Switch Online, let's do one more news story.
Okay.
Corn Kid 64.
Yep.
I'm super stoked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna pay for the expansion pass to play it. So I think I'm gonna get it on Steam. It's only like $7.
Same thing with was Kiwi, the little bird game 64.
Yeah.
So those games together have also they now have Nintendo 64 online controller support as well, so you get to play them with the official Nintendo controller.
So from what I understand, the Corn Kid 64 is being released on Nintendo N64 Virtual Console.
I don't know if it is for certain. I thought you could buy it off of there. Maybe you can buy it standalone and it's included with the expansion pass. And maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I just think it's cool. We have a new Nintendo 64 game.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, sort of. All right. So that's the news. It was really exciting news tonight. Really good job with the news, Billy.
Hey, you did a great job with the news, Mike.
Thank you, Billy. I appreciate that. So this is a carryover episode. We had some ideas in the last episode. I'm currently still playing through as many Game Boy Color games as I can. I went and visited the Super Pod Saga with Aaron, and then there was a couple other shows. There was the 3DO podcast with Thrak, and Fine Time with Dre, who I've been on their shows as well. We all joined together and we did a handheld episode. It was lots of fun. So I was talking to Billy about it, and I was showing pictures of some Game Boy Color games that I was playing for them, and he was expressing the idea that he doesn't recognize any of those. So I sent him 15 screenshots of Game Boy Color games that I've touched or am in the process of playing through, because some of them are really interesting, and I'm actually having a great time. And I thought it would be fun to have Billy try to identify these games based on screenshots of a Game Boy Color game. So, here is the first. This is the Billy. Billy doesn't know anything about video games, even though he sells hundreds of emulators, matching game for fun on the Billtendo show. That's the extremely long but very official name for this game, Billy. Well, I know all of these games. I've got a list. But I know I've played them, so I just wrote the list because I didn't want to forget the official name of the Game Boy Color version. But Billy, do you recognize this game at all?
Battle Tanks.
Mm-hmm. Which
and
one?
And wait. Only because this is the example that you showed me the other day.
That is correct. This is, and it is.
And I didn't get it right then.
You didn't. No, you looked at it. So this game is actually, I'll do a little bit about some of the games. This game is fun, except that, so you see this building on the left here, this brown building.
Yes.
The problem with this game, though it is graphically really cool, like obviously you can tell it's got like that Grand Theft Auto kind of look to it. And it's fun. If you tried to drive behind that building, so where the arrow is, but what would be graphically behind that building where that crushed car. The fun part about the Game Boy Color version is there's no depth, so you can't even drive behind buildings. Your tank has to be visible 100% of the time.
Oh,
so
wow.
You can't even fit in that alleyway up on there. So I actually spent probably more time traversing levels, or I actually thought I was playing it wrong. Until I figured out that it's all a perception thing, and I just couldn't drive where there were things, and including all parts of the building. So there's no driving behind buildings. You can only drive where you can clearly see the streets. And then that made the rest of my game. It's only about a 2-3 hour game, maybe tops, maybe even less if you know that you can't through buildings. So,
right.
But it's super fun. I suggested to your game players in your 64 players and collectors group, Battle Tanks. Good time. All right, give me another one.
Hold on, writing something down.
Battle Tanks is fun. Is that the note?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. Sorry.
Battle Tanks is fun.
Let's hope I go the right way. Otherwise, people are going to see the stupid ass videos I send to you during the day.
That's fun. You did go the right way. You recognize this game, Billy?
Yeah. Is this Razor?
It is. This is Razor Freestyle Scooter.
And only let me tell because he's riding a scooter. It didn't look like a skateboard.
Yep.
All right, nice.
Tried to throw you off with the basketball court. Give you a little curveball there. This game is better than the N64 version, in my opinion, as well. If you've played the N64 version, it's obviously like a Dollar General clone of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer, that kind of thing. It's not very good. It's not terrible. It's just not as good as those games. This one plays it plays as good as the first Tony Hawk game on the Game Boy. So if you like that style, it's pretty fun. And obviously you can't tell because these are screenshots, but it's pretty smooth and looks pretty good too. Yeah. Good game.
Yeah. You ready for the next one?
I'm always ready.
All right.
What is this, Billy?
Oh my God. Okay, so this is either
clearly a driving game. There's a steering wheel.
Yep. So I'm guessing it's cruising.
It is a cruising. Do you know which cruising?
USA.
No.
Fuck. Exotica?
It is Exotica. Yes.
You know, I almost said Exotica first just because of the landscape.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mark that as a no. I didn't. How do I give myself I'll give myself a half a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it is a cruise and I just picked the wrong one.
Let me tell you, even if you're playing this on emulation and you have it bumped to the as good as you can get it, this is about as good as this game looks, which is kind of a shame, especially if you like the cruise games. I'd still suggest that you play it, but boy, yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, I might try this one, but probably not. I'll try the Razor before I try this one.
Do.
All right, next up. Oh, I am keeping score, Mike.
So you got 2 yeses, 1 no so far?
2.5 yes, half no.
Okay, all right. You keep your score then. I don't have to keep it. That's good.
Were you keeping score?
No, I was checking them off of that. I've seen the pictures on the list so far.
Okay. No, I'm keeping score. How many pictures do we have total?
15 pictures.
All right, let's keep it going.
Yeah, there we go.
Dude, is this Hydro Thunder?
It is not Hydro Thunder. It is a racing game.
This can't be Wave Race.
It is not Wave Race. There is not a... These are all Game Boy Color. There is a Wave Race game that is only Game Boy original Wave Racer.
I don't know.
This is Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, Billy.
Get out of here. That's obviously water. This is Pod Racer? I'll take the loss on that one. Jeez.
It's going 582 miles an hour, Billy.
Oh, I didn't even look at that.
You gotta use your clues here, buddy.
Yeah. Context clues, man.
Yeah. This one's pretty okay too. You might actually like this one. Plays pretty good. Obviously not the prettiest.
You said
Episode 1 Racer looks pretty good on the N64. And so the biggest problem, and I talked about this on the other show I was on, is that I had to meet these games on their own terms. Is the biggest problem I'm having right now. It's adjusting yourself to the decade that they came out in, and knowing that Nintendo only had handhelds in 8-bit at the time, and this is it. Like this is as good as it got.
Razor looks like it could have been released on the NES for sure.
A couple of these are actually almost like Game Boy Advance good too. So
really?
Yes.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. I am 2.5 yes, 1.5 no.
Well, that's a small one. I wonder why Facebook does that to things.
I don't know. It's annoying, and you can't
Nope, you can't blow it up. Don't even try.
All right, I'm in here.
Yep.
Oh, dude, is this Quest?
It is. This is Quest Brian's Journey.
Dude, you know what set it all for me, even though this looks absolutely nothing like Quest to me, is Brian himself.
Yeah. It's a very good Brian sprite. So.
Dude, you ought to be happy I got that one, Mike.
Look how Zelda-esque it is. How Link to the Past.
Do you want to know what my first glance was?
What's that?
Earthbound.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah. I'm actually, dude, what's it called? Brian's Tale?
Brian's Journey.
So if Brian's Journey looked like this, and how was the fight system in this game? Same as
exactly
the N64?
The same. Yep.
So I am extremely surprised that this did not get a sequel on GBA. I mean,
it came out far later. It was already past. So it was almost mid 2000 was the release on this. So it was we were out of the Quest's push so far.
Right, but looking at it from like a visual standpoint, like this looks like, and it's not my favorite fight mechanic in the world for Quest. but it is a very interesting fight mechanic, and I don't dislike it. You know,
I think you will like it more in 2D, and a lot of people prefer this to Quest 64. Playing it because you do play it kind of the traditional Final Fantasy turn-based side by side, but you're still able to
you can
move and
duck them.
avoid attacks. Yep.
Yeah, nice. That is one thing I really like about the turn-based fighting in on Quest fight mechanics.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah. So obviously I suggest this one to people.
Yeah. Well, this is obviously Turok.
Which Turok, though? Billy, there's multiple games for each of these things.
This is going to be the first one. Turok.
It is not. Nope.
Dinosaur Hunter. No.
No.
Seeds of Evil. I don't know. I give up.
Yeah, it's Turok 2. It's Turok 2. And this one doesn't, if you play this, know that you're dumped into a game that does not follow the storyline of Turok 2. You are not in the port of Adia, where you start out the other one when you got the claw and the bow and like the dinosaur enemies around. You don't have that. You start out as an unarmed human, and all the people look like people, but there's actually reptilians, and you're like a detective, sort of. You have to like figure out which ones are reptilians. You have to get your Turok powers back. Completely different storyline. Obviously, you're riding dinosaurs here in a side scroller.
Right.
This one's a mixed bag. I actually enjoyed it. Some of the platforming is pretty janky, and there's a lot of flickering and stuff like that. But it's a pretty good game. Like as far as a 2D side-scrolling turn, there's some crazy like first-person perspective runaway levels like Contra style mixed in there too, and a bunch of other stuff. But mostly this kind of thing. So
nice. I'm giving myself a half point.
That's fine.
Yes and no on that one.
Sure.
I did get Turok, just not which one.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Let me use my context clues here.
Yep. Bow.
Boots.
Guy.
That guy has hair like 1987 Dolph Lundgren.
Could be girl too, I guess.
Could be.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta take a hit on this one. I have no clue what this could be.
This is the Hercules The Legend Continues. Mushrooms. That's the key right there.
Is it? Was it?
It's not. Yeah, no, this one is great. If you've played the Hercules, kind of looks like Arena or but just a little more realistic. But it plays the same kind of way, fetch quest, level up guy. This game does not play anything like that. So
yeah.
Once again, if you like the Hercules game, you might like this one. It's a pretty big 2D adventure, but there's a lot of those on the Game Boy Color.
Yeah. Fun fact, we are the only country in the world that says Hercules.
Instead of Hercule?
No, because his name isn't Hercules.
Oh, what is it?
Heracles.
Heracles?
Yes.
Okay.
America is the only country that says Hercules. Not even the UK, who also speak English, say Hercules.
Amazing. Good fun fact.
Thank you. All right.
You get a whole character name here.
I do get a character, but it's really narrowed down, being that it's obviously a RPG.
It is an RPG.
And there was not a ton of RPGs.
You're right.
So just based on the fact that we've already done Quest.
Yep.
And looking at the graphics of this, the style layout, very kind of Zelda-ish.
Correct.
Layout.
It is very Zelda-ish.
So I'm gonna go with and it's 150 hit points. So I'm half and half on this.
Okay, give me both. If either of your guesses are right, I'll give you a full point.
All right. Ogre Battle?
Nope.
Goemon?
No.
No.
This is Daikatana, the first person shooter on the N64, which was dual developed as a overhead adventure RPG for the Game Boy Color.
Wait, Daikatana is an RPG on,
and a good one.
Okay, hold on, because I'm writing this down because I actually want to try it.
Yeah. No United States release, which is why a lot of people haven't seen this one. But a Japan and PAL release game. RPG.
Yeah, so
and if it's a lot like Link's Awakening kind of thing too. Like you would probably like this game as well.
I feel like I would just from this single screenshot. Also,
that's fun.
John Romero.
Yeah, if he actually released this game first instead of the first person shooter, more people would probably be okay with being a bitch. So, yeah.
Wow, good one. Yeah, I definitely took a hit on that one.
Yeah.
Well, this looks like Duke Nukem, but also it says Nukem.
I thought I had to give you a couple easier ones, but I like the way that this game looks, so I had to give it to you anyway.
Yeah, but look, dude, that actually looks like Duke Nukem.
It does.
So it's just a side scroller shooter?
Yeah, kind of like a Contra sort of thing.
Yeah, nice.
This is not based off, so I have played this one a little more. It's based off Duke Nukem 2, which is not an N64 game,
right?
But I was playing it because it came out the same year as Duke Nukem 0 Hour, and I needed to make sure there was no like Easter eggs, development crossover, or anything like that. I'm still like I'm more looking into the people that made it, and I didn't get very far into the game yet, so I'm not sure. But it was one of those games where I needed to play it to be sure. I have a lot of those, like Harvest Moon. There's like 4 Harvest Moon Game Boy Color games. Like I don't know if any of those have anything to do with Harvest Moon 64. There's 2 Sheer and the Wanderer games on Game Boy Color. I have no idea if there's a connection. So it's just one of those things. And it looks cool. Like obviously this is fun.
Yeah, I would have definitely got this one even without the Nukem written on the screen.
Yeah, I should have cut it off to really make it hard, but still,
I don't think it would have been that hard. Yeah. He looks like Duke, man. Come on.
Yeah, he's got the look. He's got glasses on.
So I'm starting to mentally hear like, okay, if I was reverting the technology of Nintendo 64 games, what would this be?
Yeah, that's like, what you should be doing. You're doing it well.
I know I'm getting there. Well, I am 5 yes and 3 no at this point. Oh,
here we go.
All right. I'm only taking one shot at this based on the fact that it's a lady running with a gun.
Yeah.
Perfect Dark.
It is absolutely Perfect Dark.
Nice.
And this one is really good. Like really, really good. This is one of the ones where if you saw if we pulled up like a video clip of it, don't do that right now. But if you pulled up a video and watched somebody playing it or like it's smooth. This is not like 3-frame animation. It's like full range of animation. Looks really good. And it's more stealthy, kind of Metal Gear Solid kind of gameplay, but it's good. And if you have this, it's got a ton of transfer pack compatibility with the N64 game as well. So very cool,
dude.
Very cool.
People probably don't know that.
Yeah.
So that's a cool little fun fact.
When GoldenEye had all those things that were really hard to unlock, there's a few things like weapons and game modes that just having this game plugged into your transfer pack immediately unlocks them on 64 for you too. So
nice.
And it's not expensive. Physical copy is like $15.
Oh, that's a definite win. Because hey, let's be honest, Mike. Let's be honest. Perfect Dark is superior to GoldenEye. GoldenEye is just the classic.
Yeah, I mean, gameplay wise, it is. That doesn't mean people can't have their favorites.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And you know what? People are gonna prefer GoldenEye because of the nostalgia they have attached to it.
Yeah.
You know, the party aspect. All your friends used to get together to play GoldenEye, stuff like that.
Hours invested, memory.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. just because a game is my favorite game, I will admit it's not the best game.
Yeah. I'm the same way, Billy.
Well, you don't have a fucking choice.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Yeah. And
Indiana Jones.
this is indeed Indiana Jones. Infernal Machine.
Oh, hold on. I unplugged my headphones.
Okay.
Sorry.
Bam. We're back. Yeah, Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. Closer to the N64 version than I expected. Not the same game, but cool that they made a Game Boy Color version of it. LucasArts did a couple things here that were worth playing. If you liked, a lot of people love the N64 version, and it's not easy to find, even if you do want to own it and play it. But this one's easier to find. So,
you know, I find it interesting that you're looking at Indiana Jones here. It's blatantly obvious it's Indiana Jones.
yeah,
and yet it's LucasArts. So when we did episode 1 Racer, I thought it was Hydro Thunder.
Yeah.
You know, what a vast difference.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next. Is this courtside?
This is not courtside.
No.
It is a basketball game.
Yeah, no shit.
Yep.
I don't know, I'm blanking on other basketball game. In the Zone.
Nope, it's not in the zone either.
All right. Then I'm taking a hit on it. Which one is it?
This is NBA Showtime, the NBA Jam, which I purposely cut the other players off so you couldn't tell it was 2-on-2. This I love NBA Showtime. Mm-hmm. This is not it. I played this game extensively because I really like Showtime. So the best parts about NBA Jam are like, your team going up for a dunk alley-oop. There's not one time does it happen. I can never you can't get your teammate to jump and do it. There's no like double dunks where you go up to dunk and then your teammate goes up to dunk and you pass it halfway. You can't do that. I was never able to be on fire. I think it exists, but I can't tell because there's also no commentary. There's no boom shakalaka. There's none of that. There's no one single musical track, no commentary whatsoever. You can't even tell if you're heating up or if you're, it's a really mixed bag for basketball. So like I try hard to push sports games, and this is a hard one to support. Yeah, here we are.
This has got to be Lego Racers.
It is. Nice. It is indeed Lego Racers. Boy, that one's. It played fine, but it's tough to look at. If you took away the top half of the screen and just looked at the bottom half where there's no landscape,
right?
That looks like an Atari 7800 game or something.
I don't know, maybe a 5200, man. Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't have those very clear Lego blocks on the top. So. We're in the home stretch here, Billy. He only got 2 or 3 left.
Okay.
Lots of colors, Billy. There's some bricks.
Yeah, I know. I'm
trying to talk you here. Let's get you home. Get you in the correct Billtendo mindset for this Game Boy Color game.
Okay. You're not going to tell me this is the Game Boy version of Puyo Puyo.
It is. It is indeed.
Is it really?
And it's in fact your Puyo Puyo. This is son.
Dude.
I included it for you, buddy.
Thank you. I'm gonna take it as I got it, but
I'll give it to you. I'll let you have it. That's
all right.
close.
Thank you. But
There's only 2 of them, so
but wow, what a difference.
yeah.
Dude, I was looking at this like, is this like a game that had a mini game in another
Yeah.
game, and that's
Yeah.
it?
Yep. It's the first blip of a 2-player game of Puyo Puyo.
Okay.
They even had like the next little squishies coming down up in the middle. Yep. You'd probably like it too. It's a pretty good version. So
Okay. So we're looking. We have a dog.
we do have a dog. Pretty good dog.
Pretty good dog. We have it looks like a sheep up
Yep.
top.
Yep, decent sheep. Good as a dog.
Huh?
Not as good as a dog. We have a sheep. It's just not as good as the dog.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's a decent dog.
Yeah.
I don't know, Mike. Wait.
Not a lot of dog games on the N64, Billy.
I know, and I'm blanking. I am completely blanking.
This is Space Station Silicon Valley. Which once again, I won't fault you too much for that. This got PAL only, so there was no NTSC, even though it's not really a handheld thing. But yeah, PAL only release. Space Station. So this plays completely different. If you like the first game, I definitely suggest wildly different. Kind of the same mechanics, switching between animals and to complete tasks and stuff like that. But
I was
side scrolling platformer.
I was like, is this some weird level of going quackers?
Not.
I'm like, is that Pluto or?
Nope.
Oh, Mike, is that it?
That is it. 15. So how many right did you get? That seemed like a lot. I think you got like 10, didn't you? 9 or...
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you did pretty well. Somebody who pushed video games all day long. I'm pretty impressed. I mean, you've played some games.
Yeah.
At least you can identify games based on context clues, so more power to you for that.
So yeah. Unfortunately, I spend so much time being a game jockey that I don't have as much time to be a game player.
You should adjust that, Billy.
I have been working on it. I've been live streaming Dark Cloud 2 hours every day, man.
I was your only. Well, I walked day for 20 minutes. I was your only viewer for a point because you live stream in the middle of work day during people's workday hours, which I feel like is by design. I was going to tell you that's a bad idea, but I think you're doing that on purpose so people aren't in your stream with you. I feel like you just want to play Dark Cloud.
I was actually thinking about that today. I'm gonna push them back later in the afternoon.
Yeah,
probably starting around 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I mean, if you want more people, that's a better idea.
Yeah, I think so. But I've been very much enjoying it. And yesterday I had Dylan Janeka. I shot him the link, and he jumped on the stream with me, and I was interviewing him about his job while I was playing, because he's a manager over 2 different facilities of escape rooms.
Oh,
yeah. You can imagine he's seen some shit.
I imagine. I imagine that there's been some drunk people throwing up, making messes, people having sex and stuff like that. It's escape rooms, like you had to yourself. So.
Yes, we talked about all of that. Actually,
awesome. So what is your overall impression of the Game Boy Color, Billy?
So to be honest, I'm slightly more impressed than I thought I would be.
Mm-hmm.
I very much want to try Brian's Journey. I very much want to try Daikatana. Razor, I'll probably get around to trying just for a goof.
Yeah, these are all, and the good thing, if you do decide you're going to increase your stream ability, is that a lot of these games you can beat in an hour or two with no help whatsoever. Like, you don't have to pull up a guide or anything, like Turok, battle tanks, cruising, Lego racers. Not so much Daikatana, Brian's Journey, Space Station, Silicon Valley, but or even just to play Pod Racer for an hour is probably a super fun play. You don't have to think too much. You can talk more. Game Boy Color is rife for the picking for streamers. Everybody's touching it. I don't want to give too many people too many ideas, but
well, that's okay because nobody listens to this shit anyway. So
yeah,
I think we're good.
Yeah, I did have a pretty successful Twitter post about some of these games. So
yeah, I'm sure you did.
Stinking up the water, Billy. So
well, that's the general Mike thing is stinking up the water.
Yep.
That's pretty good at that.
Yep. All right, Billy. The show went a little long because I let you be wrong about a bunch of games here. So.
Yeah, but that was fun, Mike. We should do more stuff like this. I really enjoyed that.
It was fun. I had a good time. Obviously I've got a list of about 100 of these, so we could feasibly do this like 7 more times, but we don't have to do that. I could just throw another segment out without telling you ahead of time and be like, hey, Billy, I want to have this segment today.
Okay.
Billy, what Boy Color game is this? And then
right.
Yeah.
Yep. No, man, that's great. I like you to tell me that I'm wrong and then tell me cool little fun facts about the games.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So beyond learning about 15 Game Boy Color games today, Billy, what else did you learn on your own show named after you?
So I asshole. So I learned several things today. Number one, that you have a Cape Cod roof.
I do.
I learned that, and mostly I learned about the Game Boy Color games. So I learned that in battle tanks, you can't go between the buildings unless you can fit between the buildings.
Correct.
I learned that Daikatana has an RPG.
Yeah.
And I learned that Perfect Dark has not only a Game Boy Color, but it's compatible with the transfer pack for the Nintendo 64 version that will unlock stuff for you.
Yeah.
So super excited about all that. And what did you learn today, Mike?
I learned that it appears after this week's episode that you're modeling your online look after Duke Nukem now with your glasses and your hat and your light hair. So if you pulled up the Nukem picture and put it side by side with your face, I think you would see an uncanny resemblance to a Game Boy Color version of Duke Nukem and a current live day version of Billtendo. So.
Yeah, right. All right, Mike, you ready to get out of here?
Billy, this is lots of fun. Look forward to the Billtendo show next week on Billy's channel or on all the Billy outlets where you see Billy things. We'll be including Billy's next yet to be named wrestling content in this show next week. So look forward to that, especially if you like wrestling. This is Billy writing a note, remembering to ask to name this before next week.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, because that's the prerequisite. Have a name by next week. So if you'd like to message Billy on Facebook Messenger or go to his Facebook page or his Twitter or Instagram feed and give him good names for a wrestling segment that would last about 2.5 minutes without interrupting the show too much, he would very much appreciate this because he's going to forget probably tonight. And then remember that he has to name this night before we record. So.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Out of everything I do, y'all have no idea that Mike knows me the best.
Yeah. That's why we get along so. And that's also why we end the show on such a positive note like this every week. So have a good week, everybody.